Okay, so I got this 2005 Suzuki King Quad 700. It's got rod knock and smokes a lot, so I'm gonna pull the motor out, and I figured I'd just make a video of just pulling the motor out. Never done this before, never pulled a motor out of a King Quad before, so we'll see how it goes. So I figured the first thing I'll do, I'll pull the side covers off, pull the rack off, and pull the front fenders off. Alright. Okay, so we got the side covers, the front plastic bumper, and the rack off. Now we got all these screws loose on both sides. And we're just gonna loosen up those splash guards under there. Loosen those up off the frame and just pull them out with the fenders. Then we gotta take the wire loose on the other side for this. Cigarette plug and the headlight plug's loose. And then we should be able to pull it right off. Okay, so I got the fenders pulled off, the front fender. Now I'm just going to pull the airbox off. And I think I'll probably pull both steps off also and see what it looks like. And if there's still not enough room to get the engine out, I might pull the rear fenders off also. So I'll see how it goes. Okay, so I got the steps off, both of them off. It doesn't look like I'll have to take the rear fender off. Looks like I should be able to pull the motor right out the side. I think now I'm just gonna drain the water out, just pull one of them hoses loose, drain the water out. Maybe take the throttle body off, take the exhaust manifold off the motor, and maybe take the shifter out of the way. And that's what I'll do now. Figure I'd fire her up one time for the camera. She's pretty bad. Pretty bad. Okay, so I got the coolant drained out. Got the throttle body loose, just kind of set it aside. And the other side. Got the two nuts from the exhaust loose. Got this Allen pipe clamp thing loose back there. Now I can just pull the exhaust pipe off, and then next we'll probably pull the snorkel off the belt drive, pull the wires off the starter, and just any other plugs on the motor will pull loose, and the motor mounts. So I pulled that plug loose, pulled the shifter loose off the frame, over here, so now I gotta pull the motor mount bolts loose. There's one there, so I'll pull those out, and then we'll see how. I'm not quite sure how the drive shafts are gonna come loose yet. The one in the front and rear. I figure after I pull the motor mounts loose, I should probably shove it forward, take one loose, shove it back, take the other loose. We'll see how it works. Okay, so I got the motor mount bolts loose. Now, to take the front propeller shaft, the shaft that goes from the motor to the front differential, we have to take the front differential bolts loose. There's two bolts, one on the back, one in the front. And so we can scoot the differential forward a little bit, then we can pull that propeller shaft out. Okay, so I pulled the front differential bolts loose. Then that was able to pull the differential forward. Now I just have to pull that little spring out of there, get that out of the way. Now that shaft is disconnected from the front differential. Now I have to figure out how to get the rear differential shaft loose from the motor. And I found this motor mount right here too. We gotta take two little bolts loose. Also need to take that pipe loose off the belt cover. Okay, so what I did was just push the engine forward, and I pulled that rubber off the back differential, slid it forward on the shaft. Then I was able to pull the shafts apart, and now I could pull that spring off. So now both shafts are disconnected, but they're still hanging on the engine, and I'm not sure if I'm gonna have to maybe take the rear shaft off the motor, probably disconnect it under that boot. See, I'll see if I have to take it off the motor. Yeah, because else I don't know if it'll fit out of the frame, so we'll see. Okay, so I took the rear brake pedal loose, look at the angle there, and then this shaft was getting in the way from getting the motor out, so what I did, put a punch on there, hit it, knocked it off of the motor. So now it's out of the way, should be able to pull the motor out now. I'll give it a try. Okay, so what we did, we just tipped the motor to the left-hand side, and we were able to pull it out and get this shaft past the frame. And now she's coming out. So yeah, that's how you do it. Just kind of tip the motor, top of the motor to the left side, and we got it over the motor mounts and got the rear propeller shaft past the frame, and she's coming out now. Okay, so be sure to also take this wire loose. And I actually took those two screws off, the battery hold down clamp, and that way we can get the fenders up a little ways to get the motor out. I got the cylinder off and the piston out. This piston is pretty shot. Cylinder's all scored up, so, and the connecting rod's got some damage in it, so she's gonna need some new parts. Okay, so that was my video of taking the motor out of the Suzuki King Quad 700. That's the way I did it. I'm sure there's other ways, but that's the way I did it. It worked. We got her out. So thanks for watching. Check out my other videos.